I'm ZoWilliams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss a woman's ass. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
ZoWilliams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
Yeah. Hey. Come on, man. Let's get excited. Let's get pumped up. Happy New Year. 2016. How crazy does that sound? 2016. In a matter of no time, right? No time at all. 4 years. It will be 2020. I was a kid in the 80s. So to hear something like 2020 sounded like some Space Odyssey stuff, you know? Like, what? 2020 is right around the corner. What is that? 3, 6, 9, 12. About 1,400, 1,500 days away. 2020. How crazy is that? Listen, it's the voice of reason, the first show of 2016, back in the building. I'm ZoWilliams. Why is the show called The Voice of Reason? Because we try to be reasonable about relationships. Now, you know, reason and love sometimes is like oil and water. Very difficult to mix. You know, we try to cover all of the tough topics. We're not afraid to have the conversation that, you know, most people, you know, shirk or avoid. But we're going to have the conversation because I believe that it's an important one to have. But before I even introduce the topic, I need you to get to your phone lines. What is our phone line today? Is it 844-55-1? Is that our number? Engineer? Yes. 844-55-1. This is a caller-driven show. I need to hear your opinion about today's topic. You know, I'm not even ready to give you the topic right quick. What I want to do is also do this. I want to promote my app. I have an app, and I think you guys should get it because the app will give you notices, you know, how Zoe's coming on right now, or, you know, it gives you a little push notice to say, hey, don't miss the Zoe What show or the Voice of Reason show. Don't miss the show. And it gives you a direct link to lock right in, right? A lot of people say, oh, he says Dash Radio, but it's really Hot Button Radio, and Dash is the network. So I want everybody to go download it. If you have the Android device, that's Google Play. If you have the iOS or Apple device, you know, that's the iOS store, the Apple store. It's available for both. Don't play yourself. Let's get busy. Veronica Conway will be joining the conversation shortly. And our other girls, Whitney Tabor and Arana Lopez, are not here today. So we're going to have a little bit more room to just pontificate and expand on today's, I would say, serious topic. But you know, we find a way to make fun of it. Celebrity sex crimes. Are we slower to judge / condemn our favorite celebrity sex offenders? Ugh. Bill Cosby. Fuck. Michael Jackson. Damn. Mike Tyson. Ugh. Fuck. Kobe. Damn. I'm just saying. You know, are we just a little slower? Woody Allen? Ugh. What's it, Roman Polanski? He's like, fuck it, I'm just going to stay in France somewhere. Be like, yeah, I take little girl cooch. Now what? Stand over here. I'm just saying, this is R. Kelly. Fuck. I mean, come on. R. Kelly married a 15-year-old and had the audacity to be working on an album called Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. I just want to know, like, how should we deal with them? You know, black people are quick to say, oh, let's boycott this. Let's boycott Christmas. Let's, take our money out of the, out of the economy to show them, right? Shouldn't we take our money away from the artist we support? I mean, we still buy that R. Kelly album. You guys know, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I don't know. Right? And I'm not saying you should take the media's word for everything, right? I don't know if Bill Cosby is guilty, but I do know if 3 people say you did some shit and then 100 people be like, nah, that's bullshit. Just the numbers alone, it'll be like, okay, well, 100 people said, nah. If this was on Amazon, he'd have a 97% 5-star rating, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? But if 50 people come, that's still not an indictment of guilt or innocence, but it does kind of put you in a space to be like, well, let me investigate and see what happened. Let me get all the facts. Let me get all the information. Which is also difficult to do. I don't know what this music is in the background, but, our engineer is wild. I want to hear your opinion. 844-55-1. That's the number to dial. 844-55-1 is the number to dial. Today's topic, the celebrity sex crimes. Are we slower to judge / condemn our favorite celebrity sex offenders? What about Ben Roethlisberger? What is it, like 2 or 3? Somebody's rapping behind me, bro. You might want to find me a better beat. Jay-Z is busting rhymes right now. But seriously, Ben Roethlisberger, not to say that he's guilty. I don't know the circumstances of the cases, but he had cases, like 3 rape charges. And no one ever came. You know how PETA will come if you wear like some mink socks? You show up in some mink socks and see what happens. PETA will be at the Starbucks you go to get your Frappuccino. They'll be sitting right in there, sitting in the kitchen, waiting to start hitting. They'll be right in there. But nobody came to a Pittsburgh Steelers game and protested. And if they did, they definitely weren't in the same numbers that they came out in protest against Michael Vick. You fucking dog killer. You dog killer. I mean, they came out. And this happened 9 years ago. This dude paid all of his debt to society, went to jail. Even the dogs got TV shows. And they still was on his head like a cheap suit. Right? So my question for my listeners tonight is, do you still support Bill Cosby? Is his legacy off limits? Because if you sit there and you look at what Bill Cosby has done, in terms of philanthropy, in terms of feeding the community, sending kids to school. When I say feeding the community, I mean providing resources. Using his considerable wealth, fame, and influence to bring, resources back to the disenfranchised or the impoverished. Right? I'm wondering, do you still support him? If you do, get to the phone lines, 844-55-1. If you don't, get to the phone lines, 844-55-1. Do or don't, I want to hear your opinion. Should we still uphold the legacy of the Cosby Show? Look at the stereotype that the Cosby Show tried to thwart. We're not going to have no thugs and gangsters. What's your name? Cockroach? You bet, boy, what's your real name? Right? We're not going to have all of these foolish stereotypes. I'm a doctor, right? She's a lawyer. Our kids wind up going to NYU. I mean, They did all kind of really positive stuff. And then from the spinoff from that television show, iconic television show that showed black people in a professional upper middle class life in New York, balanced, loving. I mean, how often do you see that on TV? Right? Bill Cosby produced that show. Does the rape allegations negate that legacy? And he's done more than that. I mean, first off, pull up the goddamn Fat Albert. Was Fat Albert? I want to get the Fat Albert intro real quick. If you was raised in the 80s, if you were a kid in the 80s, Saturday morning, Fat Albert? Are you stupid? Play that for me right now. Let's get the Fat Albert intro up in here. Let's go, DJ. The Fat Albert intro right now.
Cosby coming at you with music and fun, and if you're not careful, you may learn something before it's done. So let's get ready, okay? Hey, hey, hey. Good time. Na, 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 gonna have a good time. Na, 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 gonna have a good time.
Hey, man. Come on. Come on. Come on, man. I think Veronica's calling in right now. Grab that. Man, is that amazing? I don't care what you say, man. Let's just put the shoe on the other foot. One of the rumors that dogged Mr. Rogers was that he was either gay or he was a pedophile. But I don't believe it. I mean, I've heard all kind of stuff, that he was a CIA agent and he used to kill people, and then he does a TV show for kids. Right? The number is not 844-55-1. The number to dial is 323-230-4445. So we're hearing that we have a different number now. 323-230-4445. 4445. 323-230-4445. That's the number to dial. I want to hear, should we continue to support the legacy of celebrity sex offenders? There are a lot of art students, film students, who use Woody Allen as a measuring stick for writing comedies, for film directing. There are a lot of guys. Roman Polanski is still held high. Like, hey, Roman's movies, man. Jeez. He might have been tasting premature tacos, but guess what? This film was excellent. I'm just saying. Right? What do we do? Like, how do we separate the legacy from the man? Because, people use that double standard when they say, it's not the messenger, it's the message. Right? Joe Paterno. He turned a blind eye. You see, they took down his statue because they found out that he was complicit. But it was when he was dead. When he was alive, the way they handled him, though, was with kid gloves and very delicate. They didn't want to disrespect or offend. It's crazy. Get to your phone lines, 323-230-4445. I want to know what you think. Do we separate the legacy from the evil that was done? Because raping somebody, taking the cooter is evil. Oh, God, how do we do it? Veronica Conway, welcome to the show.
Hello.
You see we in here talking right now. You see what we talking about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's heavy, man, because the rape culture in and of itself is a real situation off the top. Like, when you think about modern day slavery, right? Modern day slavery, you still got some people that are picking potatoes somewhere that are in indentured servitude. But the real portion of slavery is sex slaves. So being forced to give up that cooter is crazy. It's real. In 2016, it's real. So my point is, do we have like this tolerance for our favorites? If you understand what I mean by that. Like, well, damn, I love Mike. I'm not saying Mike did it. To me, Mike's innocent. First, he was proven by a jury to be innocent. And we already know people was trying to come at Mike crazy, right? They were trying to get that paper. Because in my opinion, Mike made a fatal flaw, and that is he gave up $20 million early. So when he did that, people was like, well, Mike gonna give you the money because he wants to protect his image. Funny, I have a funny Quincy Jones story. Where Quincy was like, man, I told Mike, it's easy for them to attack you, man. You love kids and you hang out and you chill. I know you're not doing shit, but just the way it looks, man, you can't do that shit. Because they're gonna use that against you. This is what Quincy Jones told me himself. So, shit, man. Veronica, help me. How do we separate the legacy from the crime?
Well, I think we have to, if we're going to stop supporting the legacy, if we're going to stop supporting black sex offenders, we have to stop supporting white sex offenders. In its global reach and its global impact. Understand. So I never excuse what happened in the black community around harming another person sexually, because it's interesting. If we understand that sexuality and our sexual energy is the biggest force that we have on the planet, it's a thing that if we were to actually leverage it and understand its power, we could overthrow all this stuff. So we've been trained into a condition that has us malign it and use it for really like dysfunctional purposes. But understand the climate in which it was born.
Wow.
There is such a thing as white sex that is by definition violent. White sex is by definition violent. It's violent in the Catholic Church. It's violent now in the black church, right, with pedophilia. It's violent. And so we have adopted the thinking of our oppressors. That's just what happened.
Wow.
So I'm going to say if you're going to indict anybody, just indict the crime itself, but understand its roots and its origins so that you can effectively address it.
But rape is about power.
It absolutely is.
It's not about sex. Because I've heard from a lot of girls, and you'd be surprised how many women, sisters, have been raped. I mean, it's real, women in general, just
so much,
right?
So much,
and it's hard to talk about because then there's the villainization that comes along with it. What did you do to bring this about, and all of this kind of talk? But on a real note, a sister told me the dude who raped her wasn't even hard. It was just about taking it that he was interested in. It wasn't even about the sex of it. It was, I took it.
It's power. It's about power.
That's crazy, man.
It's about power. It's always about power. But here's the thing. You only seek to have power over something that, in other words, you have to consider the source. If I think I have to violate something to have power over it, it means by definition I view myself as powerless, and I want to exert power. So you have to. We keep looking at so the way the laws have been written, because they've been written around patriarchy. And I'm not some wild feminist, but I do understand the laws were written in favor of white men because they wanted to be able to violate the planet without consequence. And so the laws are written to support that, right? So, but the only reason that you would attempt to exert influence on that level of power that you feel entitled to violence is if you felt fundamentally powerless.
Wow. Let me ask
so we have to look at the psychology of it, don't we?
Right. Let me ask, do you still support Bill Cosby's work? Guilty or innocent, are you still going to ride with Bill Cosby? And I'm just talking about his work. Not the work he put in behind closed doors. I mean, the work, the legacy, the Cosby Show, Fat Albert, all of the things that he's done. Are you still going to support that or no?
Are you asking me personally?
I'm asking you personally.
I think that
was a tough one, right?
I love what he did and what he represented in terms of creating an imprint for blackness that wasn't some hood shit that they were feeding us about. You know, he created a new narrative, right, about what blackness was.
Right.
If you use the success that comes with establishing that as a cover for taking what you want,
which most of us do. When come on, it's all mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors in Hollywood.
I understand that, but that's the problem. In other words, it is. Listen, it's a long, painful path to get rich, to get impact, to get all that with integrity, especially as a black person, because you usually have to sell your soul somewhere along the way. It's painful and difficult. Believe me, I've been confronted with those choices. At a certain point, there has to be a mirror from your internal self versus what you present to the world. And if that is so completely disconnected, then it means that you're fundamentally insane or that you are bipolar in your spirit, right? That's bipolar. You can't go out and like castigate black people and then present the black family in a powerful light and then be doing shit behind the scenes. And so what I would say is, and it's all going to come out in the wash. And so I don't even know what's going to come out in the wash.
So, but wait a minute. Because you're not doing me a favor here. I want to know, win or lose, guilty or innocent, are you still going to support the Cosby Show? The legacy.
I don't support. Listen, my life, the prices that I've paid to support the truth in my own life and other people's lives that I impact, I've paid such a heavy price for that. I've paid such a heavy, deep, spiritual, emotional price for that I will never support anything that's incongruent.
Right. So is that a yes or a no?
So I don't support it, and here's why. So if you're promoting family, quote unquote, with really conservative family values, because when he went in on, Brothers in the Hood and why is your name Shanika, when he went in on all that stuff, and was pretending to have this perfect marriage, and was castigating lower class black people, and putting out this whole show. If he's doing anything that's incongruent with that, then to me that's a lie. So I don't support liars by definition. I just don't.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the number to dial is 323-230-4445. That's the number to dial. Get to your phone lines. We want to know your opinion. Are you going to continue to support Bill Cosby? Guilty or innocent? Are you going to support his legacy? Can we separate the legacy of Bill Cosby from the offenses he may or may not have committed? What about the information that's out there right now that says a Wilhelmina model was paid to set him up? Is that true or false? It's crazy. It's a lot going on in the world right now, right? I just want to know, I'm borderline conspiracy theorist. So I'm like, why now? 50 women over 30 some odd years or something crazy. Why now? Why today? Why did they wait? Think about the case now, currently against him. think about the case. The case currently against him, they had to file those charges. Why? Because there was only a month left on the statute of limitations, right? That shit happened 10 years ago, they say, when he was 68. He's 78 now. Statute of limitations was about to be up. He's too big of a fish to let him off the hook. But that was also a case they had already passed on because it was insufficient evidence. This is what I've read. Like, it wasn't enough there to stick. So they passed on that case. Now all of a sudden the case is back. Right? You know? Pretty interesting stuff. We want to hear. Play that Age Ain't Nothing But a Number by R. Kelly. It's Aaliyah. Play it. Oh, yeah, that's right. He produced it. Let's hear this record. Is this the remix? Yes. This girl was 15 years old. We in here watching the video, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Just let it play underneath me, right? He married her. Now, let me ask you this, Veronica. They talk about grooming, right? The pedophiles, they groom, right? And grooming, to just in context of what this whole thing is, raping and all of that, grooming is a type of rape for the pedophile, right? Because unbeknownst to the person who's being groomed, usually they're younger, right?
Correct.
There's like this process of winning them over.
Correct.
Gaining their trust.
Correct.
Grooming, like, I'm preparing you for something this day.
Right.
And I think it's unfair. I think that should be seen as a type, well, I guess it is seen as a form of rape. I guess it is.
Yeah.
But when you look at this beautiful girl here, there was no defense if what they say, well, it is true. I mean, we saw the damn marriage license.
Yeah.
She didn't have the mental capacity. I mean, she's smart, but Jesus, she's, you know, the human brain doesn't stop developing until you're 25. She was 15. So how could she, you understand what I'm saying? Like, he's a producer. Yeah. He's 27. He's making my music. But did we stop supporting R. Kelly? When
we should.
But
Absolutely.
We didn't. We still haven't.
Because we're fucking insane. Because we've been driven insane. We've been driven fucking insane. It's the same reason that they support dude down in Atlanta that has a church that was found.
Bishop Eddie Long.
Bishop Eddie Long. Like,
Eddie Long stroke.
Oh, yeah. So it's the same reason we support that. Now, understand, you know, in a certain way, one of the benefits of being in America is that there are laws that attempt to protect, I'll say, underage interaction. In other words, because it's not that people aren't sexual by the time that they turn 12 or 14 or whatever. It's that they don't have the right faculties to make decisions about what sexual reproduction does.
Right,
about what it means to raise a baby, about what it means to experience sexuality prematurely, and to develop unhealthy attachments as a result of it. So, in a certain way, it's about keeping young people sane, whole, healthy, in their right mind, until they are adults and they can actually make conscious adult decisions. That usually happens like post-25 because the frontal neocortex doesn't develop and all that stuff. So that's why we have to wait. But here's another deep piece. And I've said this before on the show. A friend of mine, Tony Browder, who does amazing work. He does excavation in the Egyptian temples. He does amazing work. You should Google him, Anthony Browder. Does amazing work on the symbology of what happens in America. One of the things that he talked about is how in Baltimore they began to trace I interviewed him, and they began to trace what was happening in Baltimore, this rampant level of sexual abuse in the black community. So black uncles and black Ray was fucking the 13-year-old, right?
And listen,
that's what's happening, and it's rampant.
You saying something really big right now, because Uncle Ray Ray's ass is not only in the black church, he's in the black home, he's in the black neighborhood. It's just a dirty little secret nobody really want to talk about.
Correct.
Uncle Ray Ray is round here. You got that uncle where everybody looks sideways, like, hey, don't leave little Keyshawn in there with Uncle Ray. You know, Uncle Ray in there and Keyshawn by himself. Oh, go get Keyshawn. Uncle Ray Ray's a problem in the neighborhood. Call me right now if you guys have dealt with Uncle Ray Ray. 323-230-4445. That's 323-230-4445. Right? I want to know if you guys...
Right.
But we never talk about it.
But here's the thing. When a psychiatrist and a psychologist went back and looked at it in Baltimore, what they found was because Baltimore was the home of all these stud farms and slavery, that they were breeding men to rape their daughters and their sisters, but there is a psychological legacy that's been handed down from the white sex culture.
Okay, do me a favor, because
we've internalized it.
Do me a favor, because I don't really understand what you mean when you say white sex culture. What is that? Explain that to me, because I'm confused. Because I'm like, is she blaming the white man for R. Kelly marrying Aaliyah? I need to understand. Help me.
You sure?
I'm about to get out. That's why I asked the question. I'm about to get out your way so I can understand.
Well, and this isn't my work. This is just work that I've studied and observed. The irritated genie, if you Google irritated genie, the waronthehorizon.com maybe, he's one of the world's foremost experts on white sex and pedophilia and its origins. And one of the things he talks about is deep and it's painful, is he looks at it from a psychological perspective. That's why I'm so grateful for the Sister Frances Cress Welsing and for irritated genie. You have to look at what we experience as a result of the psychology of white people. And if you're going to look at the psychology, you've got to look at where they were, their origins. So one of the things he talks about is in the caves of Europe, how they couldn't go out like they could in Africa and go out and just pick fruit off trees and have everything be plentiful. It was freezing, it was barren, they had to go out. Sometimes the men would go out and hunt for weeks at a time and come back with nothing. They had mouths to feed, they had women at home to feed, and they didn't necessarily have access to everything. So one of the things that they talk about when we talk about white sex and its origins is that they come home angry and hungry and murderous. And therefore sex, in the origin of sexuality in the white race, it got equated with violence. I can't go out and provide, and I've got these hungry mouths to feed, and every time I have sex, I'm going to produce another mouth to feed. So that's when he became very violent against the woman. It's when he became very violent against the child because he couldn't provide. So then you're looking at women, white women, that had to develop responses to somebody that was murderous. So it's like everybody can fuck me, and everybody can put let's have anal sex, and let's have oral sex, let's do all this other stuff because producing a child is going to make my man violent. And so what irritated genie says is that's where pedophilia comes from. The need to, or homosexuality comes from. The need to have sex and quell the sexual imperative without the consequence of childbearing. And that its origin is in the caves of Europe. Then you fast forward to Greece and how they looked at the Roman Catholic Church and how they looked at pedophilia as they revered it, right? So one of the things we have to understand is the equation between sex and violence in the culture. And I'm not saying it because I'm judging them. I'm saying that if you look at the history of white behavior on the planet through the lens of their violence, which is always part and parcel with their sexual aggression, then you'll understand what they're doing here to us.
I'm not trying to be funny, but
Okay.
sex and violence kind of go together. Like if a girl is gagging,
It didn't used to.
like I had a girl, she's
used to.
from Belize. And I was trying to be respectful. She was giving me head.
It didn't used to.
She took my hand and put it on the back of her head and pushed down for me. Did she learn that from white people?
Did she what?
Did she get that? Like, because to me, like, force me to choke on your billy club, that's kind of violent.
Right, because understand the pornography industry, which is, I think that really like holistic human sexuality, if it is holistic and sexual, has no violence in it. That's only come out of the perpetuation of that through pornography and other medium through Western culture. What do we revere in Western culture? The dude with the gun that's going to go shoot him up, and the conqueror, right? Everything has nothing to do with love, with humanity. It's all aggression. That is fundamentally, talking about white aggression and white sex, that all goes in the same basket. We didn't invent that. We learned that.
Jesus. This world is crazy, man. Let me do this. I have a theory. First off, let me report this. I don't know where this source comes from. Where did this source come from? It's all over the internet right now. So, Tyga. Doesn't he date, what's her name? Yeah, she's not a Kardashian. She's a Jenner. Got it. So the youngest Kardashian. He's what, 25, 26, 20, and she was 17. And wow. Okay. So I guess on the internet, the word is that the brother was just caught texting a 14-year-old model. Already dated Kylie Jenner before she was 18. Apparently, Bill Cosby, his lawyer, is looking to go after him as well. The guy who's going after Bill Cosby is looking to go after Tyga as well. Allegedly. Yikes. Well, here's my theory. Do you know what made people forget about R. Kelly and Aaliyah's situation? Hit that, DJ. This is what made people forget about it. This right here. Just go on, turn it up. This made people just say, we good. R. Kelly, as long as you keep dropping these. Let me take a quick break right now. Let's get into this real quick. We'll be right back. See, my guy here playing some old drops. It's okay. But let me just say, that's a great record by R. Kelly. As long as he comes with those, black people be like, I can cha-cha, I can step, I can wind down after work. I don't care what he does in his bedroom. We get enamored by talent, right? Talent and fame enamors the shit out of regular people. So we make excuses, we make provisions and justifications, and we give out passes. Again, if you're just tuning in to the Voice of Reason, today's topic is a very heavy one, and that is celebrity sex crimes, right? Listen, not just sex either, just celebrities being dickheads. I mean, like Christian Bale beat his mama up, but shit, he's Batman. The fuck? Batman has issues. That's how he became Batman. Can't do anything to Batman. We have to let Batman be Batman. Right? We whooped his mom's ass. Right? I just want to know, like, it seems like they handle, and maybe here's the race card being played again, of course. It seems like they handle, white offenders a little differently than black offenders.
Just look at Oregon.
Right.
Let's look at Oregon.
Right. The white people in Oregon right now are patriots, enacting their constitutional right. They're a militia. The Constitution does say you have the right to fucking take over the government. Turn it down just a little. You have the right to take over the government if they're not performing. You can create a well-managed militia, and if you feel like the sitting government is on some bullshit, you and your militia can roll in there like, hey, what the fuck?
No, but they misinterpreted that. That's not what it meant. It does not mean the right for a little organized group to take over the government. That's not what was meant by that. They keep misinterpreting it because they would prefer to be violent. Let's just start there. What is happening?
I know, Veronica, but you cut my legs off while I was setting it up. But go ahead. Jesus.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
No, go ahead.
No,
baby.
it's too late, honey. Go ahead.
I love you.
I know, sweetheart. Just finish what you were saying. Thank you.
No, but it's what's happening is so insane because the Second Amendment, the way they use the Second Amendment isn't really the truth. And B, I'll put the video, I'll tweet you this video where a white boy breaks it all the way down to the ground about what's really happening there and what really happened there. It's so perverse. Oregon actually has a history of white supremacy. It was founded as a white bastion of racism. People don't really know the history of Oregon. It seems like this really normal West Coast cool portal. It's so racist there. And they're figuring it out finally. And these guys are not doing anything. They broke the law, and they keep trying to cover up the fact that they broke the law. But because the reason that they set arson is because they were poaching, and rather than get busted for poaching, they covered it up with setting a fire. They wouldn't be seen for it. And then the government came in and said, hey, we're going to put you in prison. And then they said, well, we're going to take a standoff. And that's like the whole trajectory of these militias, is that they've committed a crime, and then they want to cover it up, and they commit another crime, and then they say, and then they invoke, we're going to take over. That's how insane it is. It's insane.
Now,
it's insane.
But you understand how it's framed? Black protesters are thugs and dangerous, and we got to put out the fucking mod squad to shut this shit down. Guns, tanks, the whole get down. Tear gas. Oh yeah, tear gas is illegal now. But guess what? No, not for protesters in Ferguson. We're gonna hit the motherfucking media with tear gas. Right? Everybody gets it. So it's just amazing. These guys are patriots.
They have declared war on your black ass, and they're demonstrating to you each and every day, all day, that that's what they're doing. Listen, you look at the stuff that's happening in Princeton, Oregon, the FBI, there's no cops there at all, and they have guns. There's no cops, there's no FBI. It's like they're just on vacation.
It's the Wild Wild West.
They have declared war on your black asses, and somehow we keep being confused that we can still buy from white stores and support white businesses and support all. We keep being confused. We have got to get it straight.
Okay. We got a caller on the line right now. Let's go to line 3 out of Chicago. We got Brian on the line. Brian, speak on it.
Hey, what's happening, Zo?
What's up, bro?
How you doing, Veronica? I will support his work, but I gave up on Bill Cosby because I didn't like the way he aired us out. I don't like the way people air us out on television on a regular basis.
Yeah.
If you think we need to be addressed as a community. I think when we need to start having town hall meetings and things of that nature. If you really want to help out black people, Bill Cosby, follow Marcus Garvey and address the young people directly. You handing out tens and 20s of millions of dollars all the time. How about taking a little time out your schedule and going to elementary schools and telling these young people you are somebody? A kid versus giving that money to a university, shake a young man or a young woman's hand and tell them that they can be somebody instead of telling them, you dress like a fool, you need to get your act together, you need to learn how to speak. If you tell them that to their face at an assembly or something of that nature, that's something they can carry for the rest of their lives. I live in Chicago, man. I've never laid eyes. I'm 45 years old, bro. I've never laid eyes on Louis Farrakhan or Jesse Jackson.
Wow.
I live on the south side, bro. Down the street from Operation Push. Never seen the guy.
Wow.
So it's just, and I'm not the only brother that's like that. And I'm an active cat, man. I'm not just some dude who's going to work every day. I help out young people. Never laid eyes. I've never been in a place that I could see this guy. So, but back to my point, I support his work because his work was excellent. His message was wonderful. But in my opinion, he's a fucking creep, and it has nothing to do with the rape allegations.
Wow.
Because I've been accused of rape, me personally, and the young lady's father heard her bragging to her friends and called me and cleared my name. So the rape thing, I'll wait to see, because the actual facts will come about. And then we'll be able to make an intelligent decision on supporting them after that.
Right.
But his work, no, man. That needs to be, until they take Woody Allen off Netflix and out of video stores and off Blockbusters and being able to stream and everybody else, I'm rolling with, I'm a watch. I wish we could watch the Cosby Show.
Right.
Because we still have this foolishness on television that's setting us back a year every episode. Love and hip hop.
Let's do it.
All that damn foolery.
Hey, Brian, you're doing it right now. Hey, Brian, let's do this right now because you just inspired me. Call me right now with your vote for either The Cosby Show or Love and Hip Hop. Either The Cosby Show, A Different World, either A Different World or fucking Real Housewives of Atlanta. You call me right now at 323-230-4445 and let me know which.
Use the poll feature, brother.
Yeah.
Use the poll feature on Twitter.
I should do that, shouldn't I? Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, brother. I keep supporting the show. I listen to both shows. I listen every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the show on Monday.
Man.
And I got the app. Keep it going, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro. Damn.
All right.
It's a tough topic. It's tough. Call me right now. 323-230-4445. We've got Joe from Texas. Line 2. What up, Joe?
How y'all doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man.
I don't know where to start, but I'm going to try to start well. I don't listen to the media. They lie too much. Like, every time you talk, even when it comes to these celebrities or whatever, they tell you who's evil. They tell you who to ignore. I don't understand how Bill Cosby is a rapist and Charlie Sheen is just the nicest guy on earth. I don't get that shit. So I really don't listen to them. These the same people that told you that we had an oil and gas shortage 10 years ago and when Carter was in office, and that never happened. So if you talk about principles, I mean, even with R. Kelly, principle is, we knew this years ago. And my question is, if people got a problem with R. Kelly, how come the women that have been dating R. Kelly since then don't have a problem with R. Kelly? How come that the family who took, I guess, payoffs that people be thinking, R. Kelly, how come they don't have a problem with R. Kelly? See, something don't add up with all of this stuff. If you're going to be truthful all the way. Don't be halfway true.
Joe, you always call in and drop hella info, man. But let me just say this, dude. First off, I agree with you 100%. And I thank you for making 2016 dope by calling in and giving us that information. Anytime you want to call in you've got the green light because we respect your opinion. Thanks so much for reaching out. But let me say this. We still got to deal with the dark side of the black community. Don't we? Like black people, I did the show today where I was talking about the myth of good white people, right? Because black people truly believe that white people ain't good. A lot of black people think that way. Not all blacks. Some but all. Some but not all. Some but all. A lot of blacks be like, man, I don't trust white people. Can't trust them. Fuck that. Right? But there are some white people out there that have put their lives on the line for black people. Right? You see what I'm saying? So the reason why I say that is to say this. We're sometimes too eager to not want to deal with the hurt in our community that we turn a blind eye and we become complicit. Listen, just like in a court of law, omission is considered lying. Right? If you omit some shit and you know it, but you don't divulge it, that's considered perjury. You knew what that shit was.
That's right.
Then you didn't say nothing. Right?
That's right.
So in our community, there's a lot of omission going on. I just ain't gonna talk about it.
In the white community too. We should all be tried for perjury.
Oh, no question. But what I'm saying is, white people are open about their adoration. They're open about loving motherfucking Tiger Blood. Tiger Blood is loved by white folk. Right? Woody Allen, loved by white folk. Polanski, hey, great fucker. I mean, not fucker. I'm just saying, for the most part, they're open about who they fuck with. Black people, we fuck with people in the closet. Or we omit whatever it is. Like for instance, can you imagine being a parishioner in Eddie Long's church, knowing that he paid off 4, 5, 6 dudes that he was loving? Even his wife left and then came back. So do you understand what I'm saying? Like, how do you sit there? You have to turn a blind eye. And then,
well, yeah.
And then maybe
Michael Jackson had a type. Michael Jackson had a type.
Uh-oh. Hold on. I'm about to turn a blind eye real quick. Hold on. Better not nobody say nothing bad about Michael Jackson. Okay, go ahead. Finish.
Michael Jackson. Vanity Fair did an amazing article. There's been several articles. Michael Jackson had a type, and if you wind them all up in court, they all look like the man that he had plastic surgery to look like.
That's interesting.
They all were like light skin, thin nose. They all looked like all the accusers. I'm not saying, listen, their parents played them, and it was insane. But he had a type. It looked like the young man, the version of himself that he was trying to create with plastic surgery.
I'm not gonna go there. Mike went to.
You don't have to.
I'm just gonna say Mike went to court and was found innocent, not guilty. Everybody shut out, 12-0, not guilty. So I only want to deal with the allegations, right, of the people that are currently being crucified in the media. Now, the caller brought up somebody that I thought was pretty interesting, and that's Charlie Sheen. He came out and said, people are trying to take advantage of me, blah, 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 blah. But I've been HIV positive for the past 4 or 5 years. And I've been smashing. With a sheep stick. Wow. But the backlash for Charlie is a little different, right? Is there backlash? I'm just saying. Is there?
Of course. No.
What about that guy? What about the guy? What's the actor's name for Seventh Heaven? The dad on Seventh Heaven. What about that guy? Now, he's a pedophile, right? He was on some news program. I don't know if it was Soledad O'Brien or whoever. Stephen Collins, right? And she asked, "Are you a pedophile?" He said, "No, I'm not a pedophile. I just acted out." Well, wait, hold on. you understand what I'm saying? It's almost like I'm diet pregnant. Well, how you?
Right. Right.
How are you diet pregnant? I just need to understand. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
It's just you and I, baby.
So here's the thing. When I talk about us being a living, breathing reaction to white supremacy, instead of being in the powerful position that we were destined to be in, which means declaring our identity on the earth as Black people, then part of it is that we have to take responsibility for the shit that we do. And we have to and until we do that, we can't take responsibility for the power that we are and that we have. So as long as we are colluding with their idea of what is functional, then we will always be as dysfunctional as them, and we will always be more dysfunctional because they're oppressing us. There comes a point in time where we're going to have to, as Black people, decide, as men and women and children and babies, like we're going to have to stand up and say, this is what Blackness actually means. And we don't give a shit that they're getting away with a bunch of shit because it's a corrupt system that they're operating in. And if I continue to make my measurement along their ideas, then I will always be bruised, broken, hurt, and dysfunctional on this planet. It is not until I stand up and decide what is correct, decide what is powerful, truly, and moral, decide to have an economy, will I ever get out from underneath this shit. As long as we are in collusion with it, we will never stop seeing the effect of it.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Let me just say, you guys remember what this felt like? DJ, hit it. Come on, DJ. What's happening? Come on, man. Don't act like Thursday night, 8 p.m., NBC, phone lines are ringing. I see it. Don't act like Thursday nights, 8 p.m. wasn't some shit that we as a community participated in. I mean, we went and sat down for that, right? We had to be home Thursday night, 8 p.m. Am I lying, Veronica?
No, it's true, because we finally wanted to see an image of that actually represented something that looked sane, right? We have to remember that the reason that we should be boycotting the media industrial complex is, and you said it, Zoe, is because they only present images that look like they're gods and like we're like not. Right. There's always that representation, that narrative that's presented to us, and that is a hypnotic thing. If you sit down in front of a movie or a television, you by definition go into a trance. You go into a hypnotic state where you accept everything as true. We should not be ingesting their media that presents them as powerful and us as weak and powerless, because it hypnotizes us into believing that. Right? So we wanted to see a powerful version of ourselves. And so I'm all for that. And I love him for doing it. I support the truth above all else. Reality above all else. That's
wow.
All.
Phone lines are cracking. Let's get these callers on. I want to go to line 3. Jeff from South Carolina. You're on the Voice of Reason. Holler at me.
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
I'm alive and well. What's happening with you? Happy New Year's. Let's do it.
Happy New Year. Hey, yeah, I just wanted to touch on the topic just about like how we can turn a blind eye to certain celebrities when they get involved with sexual crimes. But I was listening to your racism show, and it made me think of this Exhibit. You interviewed Exhibit, and at one point Exhibit said, he said something like, when you're famous, people feel like they can just walk up to you, and they feel like they can get real close to you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that stuck with me because it just, as a viewer, as a fan of somebody who is celebrity, I guess of course you place them in a different light, and if anything, they share with you Exhibit's art with his music. So he shares his life with me through his art. And so in turn, I do get to know him. I don't get to know him like I'm his nigga, but I get to know him. So when you get to know like a Michael Jackson and you get to know like a R. Kelly, and their life is not, from what they share with you, is not sexual crimes. Right. It's not little boys. So when you get to know them, you don't know, you want to disagree with the fact that what their real life, the part that they're not sharing with you, is this. And it's hard to believe because you just bought 6 albums that say otherwise about their life. You feel me? I don't know.
Good point.
I love that. I love that.
Good point.
I love that.
That's all I got to say. And you guys keep doing your thing, man. I really love y'all. I mean, I love what y'all do.
Man, thank you, brother. Hey, shit, it's okay to say you love us. No homo. He was like, I love y'all. I mean, I love what y'all do. Good looking, homie.
Can I speak to that?
Of course, Veronica.
So what he's saying? What he's saying is so profound because who benefits? In other words, who benefits from having celebrities be built up and then promote products and commerce and be held as paragons of virtue, and then you see that they're human behind the scenes, and it's like the way the U.S. government uses puppets in Central America or whatever, puppet dictators. It's like, let's prop them up, we'll fund them, we'll give them all the money, they can do war in our interests. That's really the right equation. We prop up governments and dictators in countries so they can do our bidding and do war on our behalf, right? And then when we feel like taking them out, we're going to do that. It's the same thing they're doing with celebrities, especially black celebrities. That's what they're doing.
Wow. It just seems like, I mean, let me just say, Sandusky, right?
Which I followed very closely.
He was, this guy right here was really molesting a lot of football players, a lot of kids, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
My question is, if you compare Sandusky to Bill Cosby, now, I'll acknowledge Sandusky became famous because of the shit he did in terms of when the sexual allegations and rapes and pedophilia and all that stuff came out. That's what really made him famous. For the most part, he was unknown. He was a coach at one of the nation's top universities, so he was basically under the radar except if you lived in that area. So I will give him that right there, because he can't compare to Bill Cosby's celebrity, his fame, or his fortune. But when that came out, it was, if you could see it in terms of like in terms of categories for storms or for tornadoes. Right now, the Bill Cosby thing is a category 4 or a category 5 in terms of just the whirlwind around Bill Cosby, right? Mm-hmm. Sandusky had somewhat of a storm around him too, but if you compared it to the storm with Bill Cosby, now I've already given the caveat of the celebrity, but Sandusky's media storm wasn't like Bill Cosby or Michael Jackson or Mike Tyson. You see, I can keep naming the brothers or even Tiger Woods. Now, Sandusky got bad, but it wasn't nowhere near. Now, I've already made, I've already given him the concession that he isn't the celebrity of those guys. But goddamn, whenever it's a brother, maybe it's us. Maybe that's just the way we see it. Whenever it's us, it looks like a crucifixion. When it's white folk, what I'm saying, when it's white folks, it looks like, oh, he's sick. Oh my God, Woody Allen. Oh, he's sick. Woody Allen married the girl he was grooming.
He married
his daughter. Come on. He's still making movies with her, right? Shit is crazy. Because people get mad at him. Oh, you race card. I don't know everything.
Because white sex and depravity is institutionalized, and I don't think we actually get it yet. White sex, which by definition, and I'm not saying that all white people that have sex are engaging in the institution of it, but they do benefit from it. So white sex at its root, as I described earlier, has depravity in it. And I'm not saying it's me. I'm saying if you look at the history of it, it's the truth. And so that's what gets. And because they control the media institutions, they perpetuate the idea of that, and that is sacred. They perpetuate the idea of violence, of rape, of men taking pussy, of men taking little boys because they feel like it. Listen, let's be really clear. What does the messaging mean? We can come in, we can kill you, rape you, violate you, and steal your shit at will. And we're so bold that we'll create holidays in name of it. Thanksgiving. Right? That's like that. And so that's been, but here's the thing, is we've watched this media for so long, which is a hypnosis program by definition. It's why I've used hypnosis to recalibrate us. It's why I use hypnosis to recalibrate the black mindset.
Wait a minute. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at one of these tweets. Jonathan Johnson at John So Dope. He basically said Woody Allen be at the Knicks game and everything. Like, it's cool. He be at the game with his daughter wife.
Right. Right.
That's crazy.
Right. Because they're doing projection on us, and then we've bought into their narrative. I mean, sometimes I get tired with my own self because my understanding around the way things function, I'm an optimist, but if I really look at what I understand about how things function, I become a pessimist because I understand the reality of what this shit is.
So just take it easy. Take a breath and let us get a few more callers in. Let's just take a beat. Because this isn't an easy topic. And as a woman, I'm sure you're exceedingly sensitive to the plight of women who have gone through that.
But not even for myself. I love vaginas. I think they're sacred. I think that vaginas are precious resources, better than gold and oil.
And oil.
I understand the way that they've been violated and the way that we have allowed ourselves to be violated. And so I've never even had sexual trauma in that sense. But I have compassion for my sisters that have and my brothers that have. That's the truth.
Wow. That's crazy. Let's go to Orlando, Florida. Line 5. Shandon? Is that your name? Shandon?
Yes. It's Shandon from Orlando.
Shandon from Orlando. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Voice of Reason. Holla at me, bro.
Yeah, I just had a few things to say. First, I have a friend named Arthur, and this is in regards to the Eddie Long Church. He said he went to that church when he was up in Atlanta, and he said he didn't really like the church because the spirit was kind of evil in the church.
An evil spirit in the church. Hallelujah. Say more.
And also, I had a question about the R. Kelly thing.
Go ahead.
Was she really married to the Aaliyah? Like when she was 15 or some other girl at the age of 15?
Why don't somebody go online? The listeners are listening right now. Call to action. Go online, search for the R. Kelly, Aaliyah marriage certificate, and tweet it to me. Follow me on Twitter at ZoWilliams. Tweet it to me. Let's see. I don't know if this is true, but it has been widely speculated and believed that R. Kelly married the girl when she was 15 and somebody produced a damn marriage certificate. Now, I heard her family stepped in and was like, nah, what? This is a 15-year-old girl. What are you doing? And we could take Aaliyah off that and go to, what was the name of the artist he had,
Right.
the sister?
Right.
Whose cousin was in the video where the pissing was going down? Where's the Dave Chappelle Pee on Me? Find that for me right now. I got to play this record.
And also, I had something to say about the whole Bill Cosby thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about all the allegations. I mean, there's a lot of them, but I just don't understand why they waited 11 to 30 years. I mean, I don't know, man. That was like an episode of Law and Order. I mean, I don't know if he would have either been found guilty. I mean, it don't make sense to me. I mean, but
well, thank you, brother.
I also like to say now that I think about it, it's starting to remind me of that face he makes every time he says the word pudding. Like what's on his mind when he says that word? It looks like a cum face.
Hey, brother, I don't even know. But let me just say this. I appreciate you for reaching out, for hanging on the line and sharing your thoughts. Made the show very meaningful. We appreciate you. Call me anytime. The number to dial is 323-230-4445. 323-230-4445. Are you still with Cosby? Guilty? And when I say with Cosby, I mean his legacy. Right? I'm just saying. His legacy meant something, man.
Can we talk about something that is the elephant in the room?
What's the elephant in the room?
All right. So, if you think about what rape functionally is, right, it is, by definition, and it typically happens from a man to a woman. I understand that it happens the other way, but it typically happens from a man to a woman. It's functionally a need to exert power. Power about what? The power to have sex. So, if a man feels powerless about his capacity to interact with a woman, his capacity to show up in his masculine power, what does he do? He rapes. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but fundamentally, it's a need to take power because you feel like you don't have any. That's what it is, by definition. So, here's what I would say. Like, it sounds like really simplistic and maybe dumb, but why not give men game? Because the whole game thing, the whole, there's a whole situation out here where they're talking about, how do we, conquer women? And you don't have to conquer women. You have to understand them. And when you do, they will become far more sexual, far more orgasmic, far more loving than you could ever even hope to experience. But you have to get your mindset right to begin to penetrate their minds, not with your force, but with your mind. And so I feel like if we could just train would-be rapists in that so they're not so challenged by, which is fundamentally their dysfunction about interacting with women.
Well, I would just say, some of them are just sick. And
that's true.
Sometimes you can't train the ones that are sick, right?
That's true, but there would be less sickness with men if there was less sexual dysfunction, and I'm going to say men need to fuck. I get that.
Hey.
Men.
Somebody call? Who called me? Was that you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish.
No, I'm just saying men need to fuck. There's a real biological imperative that men have in their bodies to have sex. And so, but in a certain way, the way the society's been constructed is that we don't honor that. We leave them out to dry, and if they don't actually understand how to impact women with their masculinity, then they end up out of luck.
Wow.
And that becomes a cancer. That becomes a mutation. Now, you can say Bill Cosby had all the power in the world, and he did.
Wow. Well, you know what? This is a hurtful topic because, like, when childhood, like, how would you feel if Bruce Lee was like a pedophile? People would be fucked up over that because he was such a paragon of excellence, something to aspire to, right? I think people are making great points about Bill Cosby in terms of reprimanding, you know, the African-American community almost from an elitist perspective, almost from a, well, not almost, but definitely from a space of condescension, right?
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. He did that.
And so people can come back and say, you know, well, wait a minute. Was he really this paragon of excellence when he was, if you really look at what he was doing, was telling you to be like what white people say black success is supposed to look like? You can even make that same argument for the Cosby Show. You know, being upper middle class, doctor, lawyer. This is what success looks like in America, not just for, say, a black couple, which is rare for a black couple, but this is what success looks like for wealthy white people who aren't celebrities, right? I think Chris Rock said it. He said, listen, in my community, the guy next door is a dentist. But I'm one of the most famous people in the world, one of the richest richest comedians in the world, and my white next door neighbor is a dentist. So maybe, you understand, just fitting the social template of what success is. Of course, black people don't write that template. So was he a paragon of success? Maybe that's up for debate too.
Here's what I'm saying.
Wait.
If we were to,
Veronica, I got to get the calls, baby.
All righty.
And we'll come back.
All righty.
We'll come back.
All right.
We got to get them off these lines.
I'm a purr over here.
Thank you. Thank you, boo thing. We want to go to Michigan. Is it Go Blue or is it the Spartans? We want to go to Michigan. We want to know who you represent. Blue, line 2. Holla at me, Blue.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Zoe? What's up, Veronica?
What's happening?
Hey, yeah, my personal opinion is I think we are watching Michael Jackson 2.0 as far as the molestation cases go. Where they was calling him Wacko Jacko. They was calling him, I think people have short memories because they don't realize they was calling him Wacko Jacko up until the day that he died. And he wasn't even found guilty.
Wow.
Anybody, you know what I'm saying, they can fact check. I've really been paying attention to Cosby case. Far as I'm concerned, he only has one rape allegation because the rest of them, they talk, but none of them have ever filed a suit against him. The only one that has is Andrea Costan, and she is the same one that's doing the criminal charge against him now, is the one that had the deposition against him in 2005. It's the same person.
Wow. That's good stuff.
Technically, the trial that they have going on now is really not even feasible or tangible because the deposition, all that was she got paid, settled out some money. People don't realize back then it was 14 other people that was females that was supposed to come forward if it went to trial. So he settled it out of court with her. And from that, it was supposed to be a gag order. And by the judge releasing the court order, that disrupted the gag order, so it's really everything that they're doing is technically not even legal.
So then there must be an ulterior motive for why they're doing it right now.
I mean, the only other motive is money. I mean, you wait till he's 78, really.
No, that's a good point, man. Let me just say, man, Blue, Michigan, appreciate you for reaching out. That's great information. I appreciate it. Jeez.
No problem. Yeah, stay up.
Hey, man, there's real talk happening right here. Let's go to Kentucky. Line 3, Cliff. Hey, Cliff, you down there in Kentucky? Are you near Louisville?
No, I'm in Lexington, man, where the Wildcats are.
Oh, well, speak on it, pimp.
Well, first off, hi to everybody. And also, rest in peace to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
Yes.
We definitely have to say that. The whole thing I'm really not getting about this Bill Cosby thing is white people supported, let's say, Charlie Sheen, even after, he shot his wife and all that.
Did he?
But I may be referencing the wrong person. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, what did Charlie Sheen? He shot some? Okay, this shit is getting crazy. I don't think he shot anybody.
I do apologize. My main thing is narrating your own story. If people like Bill Cosby only have white people to go to get reprimanded from, then that's the only scenario that they have. If we give them an outlet to be able to get, reprimanded from, we can be able to make that decision on what happens. But when you don't narrate your own story, none of that can even happen. I was telling my dude the other day that one of the most powerful things that I feel that men have created on this earth was the printing press, because was when you were able to control the word at a mass level, you were able to control what you needed to control. And as far as this Bill Cosby thing, that's what I feel is happening. They're wanting to put them as, the masters of what happened to him instead of us as a community dealing with that situation as a community.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Call in. Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate it. Everybody's dropping science tonight. I want to hear your opinion. Wait, Cliff, are you still there? He's gone. Damn it. I wanted to ask him. Guilty? It's not your fault. It's my fault. Guilty? And please, callers, when you call in, guilty or innocent, are you going to stick by Cosby's legacy? I just want to have one more little break here. R. Kelly is a musical genius. I want to hear one of his rare records. Yeah! Hey! Come on, man. Let's get excited. Let's get pumped up. Happy New Year. 2016. How crazy does that sound? 2016. In a matter of no time, right? No time at all. 4 years. It will be 2020. I was a kid in the 80s. So to hear something like 2020 sounded like some Space Odyssey stuff, like, what? 2020 is right around the corner. What is that? 3, 6, 9, 12. About 1,400, 1,500 days away. 2020. How crazy is that? Listen, it's the voice of reason, the first show of 2016, back in the building. I'm ZoWilliams. Why is the show called The Voice of Reason? Because we try to be reasonable about relationships. Now, reason and love sometimes is like oil and water. Very difficult to mix. We try to cover all of the tough topics.
Yeah, that's how it goes at the R. Kelly party. I sip Chris, you drink piss. This on your remix.
Hey, that was Dave Chappelle. Clowning. Oh, man. Sometimes you got to laugh. A lot of people are asking questions about how to deal with sexual assault. One thing that makes the best comedians is their ability to transform their trauma into, humor, into laughter, right? That's one of their That's one of their greatest skills. Richard Pryor, I mean, go back and look at JoJo Dancer when he talks about, JoJo Dancer, your life is calling you, right? He had a hard life, man. But he found a way, to use his talent to, kind of deal with it. Comedy was his therapy, along with cocaine. But the greatest comedians find a way to turn trauma into laughter. And I would say, not being, a technical clinician, I would say you have to find a way to find joy. Now, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe joy isn't laughing about it, right? Maybe joy is finding a way to come to terms with it and understanding that you're not to blame for it, right? Because a lot of times the blame is put on the victim, right? How she was dressed, or did you do anything to provoke, or, all these little whatevers are out there. You know what I mean? So part of finding that joy is to understand that, in a lot of ways, you're not responsible. You're not responsible for this, right? It's a sickness. You're not responsible for somebody else's sickness. That's how I view it, We got a lot of callers. Listen, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Voice of Reason on Hot Button Radio. Hot Button Radio is a radio station that can be found on the Dash Radio platform. What is the Dash Radio platform? Well, it's unique. It's an app. Download the app right now. All of these stations. Snoop Dogg got a station. K-Day got a station. What's Snoop Dogg's station? Cadillac? Cadillac. That shit is cold. All the great music is on that, man. A lot of incredible. DJ Ski has a station, man. Odd Future has a station. I mean, it's an incredible platform to be a part of. What'd you say? My homeboy Julio G over here just killing the game with the 1580 station. I mean, the K-Day station. I mean, it's bananas, right? So you can get the app. You download the app, or you can go to your desktop and type in dashradio.com and pick a channel, man. Pick my channel, Hot Button. I mean, we got the hottest topics. Don't get it twisted. We turn it up in here. Tonight's topic is celebrity sex offenders. Why are we slower, or in some cases faster, to condemn and judge them? I think we're very fast on the trigger with black folk. He did it. But it depends. Maybe the white sector, because we're a very fragmented community. The white sector is like, oh God, Mike Tyson raped that girl. But the black community was like, what's she doing there at 2 a.m? Is that blaming the victim? I mean, let me just say, can we, at what part of the questioning is blaming? Can we go up to the point of saying, because I'm going to teach my daughter before she's ever in a situation like that, if you take your ass into anybody's room, particularly a celebrity worth millions of dollars, he calls you at 2 a.m. to come through. I mean, we see that as a booty call. We just see it as a booty call. Now, I'm not justifying it or saying it's right. I'm just saying I'm going to teach her, tell that motherfucker to holler at you at noon. I got to teach her not to put herself in a situation. Now,
I understand that.
Let me just say, Big Mama said, Emma Sue McWhirter, my Big Mama said, you wouldn't be in an accident if you weren't there. That was the coldest piece of information I ever got. You wouldn't be in an accident if you wasn't there. So I'm not saying, damn it, it's that slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. Don't get dressed at 2 a.m. to go to the heavyweight champion of the world's hotel room at 2 a.m. I just don't do it. He's a boxer. I'm sure he has brain damage. Let's just deal with getting hit in the head and your brain boggling around, right? If the football players is crazy, imagine what the boxers are. I'm just saying. Okay? So I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying Desiree Washington shouldn't have been in that man's room.
Can I address this?
And you got 30 seconds because we got to get back to the callers.
Okay, great. So one of the things that we experience is the fact that we have become so worn down and so accustomed to being violated that now we have organized our whole lives, our entire existence, around preventing ways for the violators to stop violating us. And we pass it down to our children, and we pass it down. And I agree, we have to teach our children to protect ourselves. But I would say that as the dominant force, as the dominant people on the planet, if we don't figure out a way to address it at the root cause level, in other words, you stop the violator, not the violated. We keep organizing ourselves around responding to white supremacy. We keep organizing ourselves and our children around how do we protect ourselves against psychopaths. And at some point, we have got to, and I'm going to charge the men with this in our community, with a female counterpart. The feminine energy can come into can inform the masculine imperative. I'm going to charge the men to find a way to stop the root cause of all that harms our community. That should be your only job. And it has to be done in concert with women who produce the children. That's what's up.
Wow. Man, this is heavy because it's a lot of hurt out there.
I know.
At Phenomenal D on Twitter says, Zoe, I never got over being assaulted. Hearing about or seeing an assault on TV triggers. I loved again after my assault, but it took time. You know, this is heavy, man. Oh, and they say Charlie Sheen shot his fiance in 1990.
Yeah, he did.
Like, so
absolutely did.
I think it was Kelly Preston or whatever her name was. Preston. No, isn't that the one who married John Travolta?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Who's gay? Who loves black booty?
Whoa.
Loves
hey.
black booty. Yes.
I didn't know anything about that. That's an entirely different show, ladies and gentlemen.
Google it. Google that shit.
I'm not going to Google his bull goal. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But it's interesting, the hypocrisy, though, surrounding Bill. Because Spelman and all of these HBCUs will take back their honorary doctorates and degrees that they gave him. But I wonder if they'll give him back the money he gave them. If you're going to give back the doctorate, if you're going to give back the honorary degree.
They can't afford to.
I'm just saying, though, if you're not going to stand in solidarity with, because him giving you money to pursue higher education has nothing to do with what he's accused of. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the dude is good. I'm not saying that he's right. I'm not saying we should support him. I'm saying either we're going to support him or we're not. We can't do symbolic support or symbolic renunciation. I would have had way more respect for Spelman if they would have said, we're taking back the honorary degree and here's your money back.
I understand that.
I would respect that.
They are under assault. They are under assault financially. They are in a world of hurt financially. You know why? Because black folks don't support those institutions.
Well, then they should shut their mouth.
Black folks, listen.
Right? I mean, if you're going to stand for something, if you're going to stand for it, stand for it.
Well, then here's the thing. Then the everyday black man has to do what white people do and what Jews do, what the Chinese do, and what the Israelis do. We have got to monetize our institutions. Otherwise, we should shut the fuck up.
That's what I just said. That. But don't be like, fuck you, Cosby. We taking back this little piece of paper that said you are an honorary doctorate here. but I'm not going to give you that little piece of paper back that says, here's operating money for the next 5 years. Fall on your sword. You're going to stand for some shit.
Right, but then I'm going to implore that every black person in the sound, in earshot of my voice needs to go in and support. In other words, our institutions get held hostage by money because black folks, who is a $1.2 trillion economy, don't support them. So then we end up falling prey because we spend our money with fucking R. Kelly instead of the HBCUs. In other words, instead of complaining about education, why not fund HBCUs so they give the highest quality education instead of buying R. Kelly records?
That's interesting.
But we don't do that economic thing. We're like, we'd rather be entertained than fucking fund our own interests.
Hey, listen.
And that's what's wrong with us. That's what's wrong with us.
Listen, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, Veronica is pissed off 2016, January 4th. She's on 10 right now. I love it.
Because it's crazy. Because we're crazy. Because we're crazy. We keep investing and funding shit that's going to kill us, and then we castigate things that could actually. And so when it all plays out in the media, then we don't know why we're confused and why we're so. Go fund HBCUs, and they don't have to. Then they can give the check back to Bill Cosby. But we don't have any political power because we choose to fund R. Kelly rather than Spellman.
Okay, hold on 1 second, Veronica. Hold on 1 second. Turn this up. R. Kelly disagrees. Y'all can't tell me that record wasn't fire.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Isn't it terrible? Because awesome. I did that on purpose because you're so passionate and it's there and it's the truth. But that melody, that music will make us say, well, shit. We had Lil Rod with that record. Lil Junior came through there. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. We have been driven insane. We have been driven insane, and we don't eat because it's the water in which we swim. We don't understand when we don't act in our own best interest. We have to begin to act in our own best interest.
Wow. You cannot tell me bump and grind wasn't a business.
No.
Let's get some people in here right now. We got callers, Veronica. Take it easy, honey. Just breathe.
Crazy.
Breathe deeply. Brian from Miami. Line 5, Brian, you're on the Voice of Reason. Holler at us, Brian.
Yeah, I won't lie. Bump and Grind remix. Yeah. I fucks a lot to that. Hell yeah. But that aside, man, I mean, the show took so many turns, I really don't know what to start. But I'll say this. Bill Cosby, I give a damn about Bill Cosby, but his lawyer,
she bad.
Oh, my God.
Now, that is a black woman right there. Educated. Woo. Sharp as a razor.
Oh, my God. I'm in love with her. Monique Presley. Oh, man. If we could clone her and Veronica. Oh, man. And have a bunch of Veronicas and Moniques running around. We'd be all right.
Man.
I'll leave it at that.
I appreciate it, Brian. Thank you for the call, man. Let's get over to Japan. We're going across the ocean, man, across the Pacific, on the other side of the Pacific Rim. Line 6, Holly Pan. Holler at us.
Yeah.
That's dick in her jaw.
So what the fuck, man?
What's up, pimp? Happy New Year.
What's up, nigga? I ain't heard from y'all in a while, man. I've been listening. I just ain't been calling. I've been on the mission.
I got you, pimp. Speak on it.
Man. Hey, look, man. I just want to say, for everybody who talking shit about Bill Cosby, a lot of us got cousins and uncles and shit like that who then, fuck bitches who was sleep too. So, it's a Bill Cosby in every family. So
That's
everybody
true.
needs to get off of that bullshit like he the only one doing it.
And he and that uncle get to come to Thanksgiving every year.
Yeah, he do. And he gets to borrow money and not pay it back. So
He still got all the privileges of being family.
hey, and another thing, man.
And he makes your daughters insane. He makes your daughters insane.
Hey, listen.
That's what happens.
Joseph, let me tell you right now. Veronica is not having it today, okay? So tread lightly, pimp. I'm just telling you.
I'm going to tread lightly, but I do love that book, so I ain't going to give it away for it, because y'all people need to get Zoe book. It's a good book, but
oh, man, thank you,
read
brother.
chapter 14, slapping sense into your comment, bitch, and I'm loving that shit, Zoe.
Oh, my God. I don't know if I wrote that, but okay, pimp. Hey, man, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks, man.
Hey, man, the best wishes to your son, and good luck, Zoe.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hey, we got another caller on the line. Let's get Red in here from Missouri. Red from Missouri, line 2. What up, brother?
Happy New Year, Zoe. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, baby.
Wow.
I think
there's something special going on between these two. What the fuck?
What we
go ahead,
what we have a tendency to do in our community is we celebrate insanity, and the holes that we as individuals have inside of us need to be filled with something. And the only thing that's on TV nowadays is Love and Hip Hop, which there's no love on that show. There's no hip hop on that show. The Cosby Show, at its height, you also have to take into account what was going on in the 80s. You know, we had drugs, killing our community. We had everything crazy, going on at that particular time. The Cosby Show was an escape to celebrate love between a lawyer and a doctor. A real family, if you will, a true family.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, it was a great thing to celebrate. We don't celebrate that in our community anymore. We don't celebrate love. We don't celebrate that. We'd rather watch train wrecks and car wrecks on TV shows and live with that and wonder why we're dysfunctional.
Wow.
We don't have common sense when it comes to things that should be common. You know that there's a pedophile in your community, but yet at the same time you support that person. That's insanity.
Yeah, I agree.
We let it slide. We don't talk about it. We don't bring it up. I remember talking to my grandfather one time when he was living in New York as a kid. If there was a pedophile, somebody touching little boys and little girls in the community handled it.
But, and let me just say this really quickly that I think is very important that has to be dealt with that you're talking about. Sickness can be healed. It's not just westernized healing. There is a spiritual component to healing too.
Correct.
Our community can heal a lot of the shit that goes on in the community if we were still connected spiritually, to the ways of, to the way of how to deal with that. We've lost those ways. You feel me? Correct. So what we will do, we're centered on sexual abuse right now or sexual assault right now, but there's also domestic violence. There's also conflict resolution, and nobody is exempt from that. But I'm saying if the community is to heal as a whole, we have to reconnect to those spiritual ways of cleansing ourselves too. Right now,
of course,
being vindictive, going to the white man, going to the court system. That's our way of conflict resolution today. There's no, listen, $50 billion a year family court makes. And I had a family law attorney tell me straight up. She said, Zoe, we shouldn't have to answer or fix your family problems. But when you bring us in, there is no win-win situation. There's going to be a winner and a loser. She told me this. That's just the way lawyers are trained. This is why the court has shifted some to mediation, because mediators come in and try to get the win-win where everybody gets something or everybody is happy. But normally it's win-lose.
Correct.
It's an economy. Your problems create an economy. Your relationship issues create an economy. $50 billion a year. So my point is, as a community, man, we got to get that healing back. We got to get that. When Red says we got to bring it back in home and we got to clean it in our community, that's what we got to do. I'm with Red on that. Red, your final thought on that?
You just hit it right on the head, brother. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, my thing is we have to look within ourselves. Stop supporting dysfunction and insanity. Stop it. It's easier said than done, because you know what? When those particular shows that are on TV right now, when they come on, black people will turn them on.
Wow.
So they'll support it.
Wow. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in 2016, man. We appreciate you, bro.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Listen. Whew. Do you guys remember this? Let's hear this real quick.
I know my parents loved me. Stand behind me, come what may. I know now that I'm ready, yeah. For I finally heard them say, it's a different world, ooh, than where you come from. The city is now, yeah. Here's our chance to make it. And if we focus on our goal, you can decide, we can take it. Hey, just remember that you can too. It's a different world. It's a different world. It's a different world. It's a different world than where you come from. Ooh, 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 than where you come from.
You can't tell me that didn't feel good. Come on, Veronica, didn't that feel good? Was it me? Am I just waxing nostalgic? Is it me? That didn't feel good to you?
I love nostalgia. I love sentimentality.
I think that's why I'm holding on to that shit, man.
Yeah, that's how we all hold on to that shit.
But you know what's crazy? They didn't take off Stephen Collins' show. Seventh Heaven is still on. And I just acted out. I just, mess with some little kid. I just acted out. I'm not a pedophile. We're like, what?
We have to decide who we're going to be as a decision rather than a reaction. That's all. I'm just saying, decide who you're going to be. Decide what the moral compass needs to be for our community. Quit downloading all this toxic bullshit that we get from the dominant culture, because we know that they don't have our best interest at heart. So let's just decide who we're going to be. And so whatever that is, I honor that. But it has to be from a true place of not reacting to their bullshit. That's all.
Wow.
I'm good with that.
Wow. Today's show was awesome. Let me just say, I love everybody out there who support the voice of reason on Hot Button Radio. And I really appreciate Jeff Schimmel, my guy Ski, John, all of these guys, man. They give me a platform to really go ham and have the real conversation, the unapologetic conversation. So I'm thankful to be able to be back here this year and to continue the mission of having the difficult conversation. We're gonna be a little inappropriate. We're gonna be a little, bombastic, but we have the freedom to do it here. So let me just say, welcome to 2016. It's only going to get even crazier from this point forward. And no, we're good. And let me just say, I love everybody who participates and supports the show. I'm ZoWilliams, the voice of reason, and you will hear me again this Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The voice of reason is back at you. 2016, Happy New Year. I'll holler at you next week or Wednesday.